Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you not as someone who has never struggled, not as someone who never cried, as someone who never questioned life, but as someone who learned that pain has purpose. Life doesn't always give us comfort. Sometimes it gives storms instead of sunshine, mountains instead of open roads, and heartbreaks instead of applause. But through every shaking moment, through every silent night when nobody knew what you were fighting, there was a force greater than you, greater than your fears, greater than your doubts. God shaping you, strengthening you, building you. You see, being built through pain doesn't mean enjoying the hurt. It means understanding that every challenge carries a hidden gift. It means realizing that the moments that pushed you to your knees were actually lifting you to your destiny. It means accepting that sometimes God removes the comfortable so he can reveal the powerful inside you. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the engine that pushes you to grow. Pain is the teacher that makes you wiser. Pain is the chisel God uses to sculpt your character into something strong enough to hold your future. Today, I want to speak to the part of you that feels tired, the part that's been fighting silently, the part that wants to rise but keeps getting pulled down. Because you are not here by accident. You are here because the pain you went through is about to turn into the strength you rise with. Pain is the process that prepares you. And many people don't realize how deeply true this is until life presses them into situations they never asked for. Think about a seed buried in the ground. It is covered in darkness, crushed under the weight of soil, unseen, unnoticed, and completely isolated. But that pressure, that darkness, that silent struggle is exactly what activates the life inside it. Without burial, without that squeeze of the earth, without that uncomfortable environment, the seed would never break open, never grow roots, never rise up. In the same way, there are moments in your life when you felt buried, moments when you felt hidden, moments when the world around you seemed heavy on your chest. But what if that pain wasn't punishment? What if that pain was preparation? Every person you admire today carries a story of discomfort behind their strength. Think of the student who stays up late at night, exhausted, eyes burning, mind tired, but continues studying because they dream of giving their family a better life. The pressure of studies, the fear of failure, the loneliness of nights spent working while others relax. Those experiences don't break them, they build them. Because every page they read under stress, every problem they solve under pressure, shapes their discipline, sharpens their resilience, and stretches their ability to endure. Pain prepares them for the greater responsibilities they will handle tomorrow. Or imagine a young athlete running every morning while their body screams to stop. There are days when the legs shake, the breath shortens, and the mind whispers to quit. But the athlete keeps going. They push through the burn. They embrace the discomfort. They let the pain sculpt them. And later, people clap for their success without understanding the hidden years of sweat, bruises, and silent suffering that built that victory. What the world sees as talent was actually formed in private battles. And what looked like pain was actually preparation. In everyday life, we face storms that feel unfair, losing a job, facing betrayal, struggling financially, watching plans fall apart, or enduring heartbreak that shakes the soul. In those moments, the first reaction is often, why me? But life isn't trying to break you. Life is preparing you. That job you lost might be the very push that forces you to discover a new skill, take a new path, or step into a career that fits who you were always meant to be. That heartbreak you thought would destroy you might be the moment you rediscovered your worth, your boundaries, your strength, and your identity. The pain didn't come to weaken you. It came to wake you up. Think of steel. It becomes stronger only after it goes through fire. The fire does not destroy the steel, it purifies it. It burns away weaknesses. It hardens its surface. It makes it unbreakable. The same fire that looks dangerous becomes the tool that forms its strength. Your pain is that fire. Your struggle is that heat. God allows certain pressures not to crush you, but to shape you into someone who can survive future storms with courage. Some of the most powerful people in history were not shaped during happy times. They were shaped during difficult ones. They developed persistence when life closed doors. They learned patience when nothing seemed to be working. They discovered creativity when resources were limited. They became leaders because life forced them to rise when others fell. Every hardship was part of their preparation, and every challenge built a layer of strength they didn't even know they were gaining. Think of your own life. Think of something painful you went through years ago, something you thought you would never survive, but you did. And look at you now, stronger, wiser, more alert, more aware, more grounded. You learned lessons that comfort could never teach you. You discovered truths about yourself that ease could never reveal. You found courage you didn't know you had. Pain prepared you for the person you've become today. There are times when life isolates you on purpose. It takes people away from you. It closes doors. It removes opportunities. It limits your options, not because you are being punished, but because you are being trained. A seed cannot grow in a crowded environment. It must be alone, buried, and pressured before it sprouts. In the same way, some of your most painful seasons are the seasons where you grow the most. When people walk away, you learn independence. When support disappears, you learn strength. When resources dry up, you learn creativity. When comfort is taken away, you learn resilience. People often ask, why does growth hurt? It hurts because growth stretches you. When a tree grows, its roots push through hard ground. When a muscle grows, it tears before it strengthens. When you grow, your old habits break, your old beliefs shift, and your old fears loosen their grip. That stretching feels painful, but it is necessary. Without the pain of stretching, there can be no expansion. Think of a butterfly inside a cocoon. Many people don't know this, but if someone tries to help the butterfly by opening the cocoon too early, it will never be able to fly. The struggle inside the cocoon is what forces blood into the wings. Without the pressure of fighting its way out, the butterfly's wings stay weak. What looks like a painful battle is actually the very process that gives it the ability to fly. Your pain is giving you wings. Your struggle is equipping you. Your challenges are shaping the strength you will need for the life you're heading toward. One day you will look back and realize that everything you cried about made you stronger. Everything you lost made space for something better. Everything that hurt you taught you something valuable. And everything that pressured you prepared you. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your preparation. And one day you will thank the very moments that once made you feel broken, because you will finally see that they were building you all along. Strength is built when no one is watching. And that truth is something most people overlook, because humans naturally crave recognition. We want someone to clap for us, someone to notice our effort, someone to validate our struggle. But the real growth, the real transformation, the real power is built in the moments when no one sees you. When you're alone with your thoughts, alone with your battles, alone with your decisions, those private hours are the foundation of greatness. A person is not defined by how they act when the crowd is cheering. They are defined by what they do when the room is empty. Think of the young man trying to turn his life around. He wakes up before dawn, his alarm echoing through the darkness of his room. No one knows he's up. No one is applauding his discipline. He drags himself out of bed, not because someone is watching, but because he's fighting for a future better than his present. He studies while everyone else sleeps. He works while others relax. He improves himself quietly. And years later, people look at his success and say, he got lucky, but they never saw the mornings he spent pushing himself when no one was there to motivate him. His strength wasn't built in public. It was built in silent mornings, consistent effort, and lonely sacrifices. Or think about a single mother. The world sees her smile, her courage, her strength. But they don't see the nights she sits at the edge of her bed exhausted, with bills in one hand and tears in her eyes. They don't see the private battles she fights to provide for her children. They don't hear the prayers whispered behind closed doors, or the worries she hides beneath her daily responsibilities. Yet every silent struggle makes her stronger. Every unseen decision to keep going builds her character. Every moment she chooses courage over surrender becomes another brick in the foundation of her strength. She becomes powerful not because people watch her, but because she keeps moving even when no one is clapping. Success in any field, sports, business, art, education, comes from mastering the invisible work. An athlete doesn't grow during the match. They grow in the lonely hours of training when the stadium is empty. A writer doesn't become great when their book is published. They become great in the silent hours spent rewriting sentence after sentence. A business owner doesn't succeed in front of the audience. They succeed through the private failures, the quiet planning, the long nights spent solving problems no one else even knows about. This is why real strength isn't loud. Real strength is quietly built. Our generation sometimes forgets this because we live in a world where everyone shows their highlights but hides their grind. Social media shows the results, not the process. It shows the celebration, not the struggle. People compare their behind the scenes to someone else's spotlight. But the truth is, the part you don't see is the part that makes a person who they are. The late night studying, the early morning workouts, the self-discipline, the heartbreaks, the failures, the retries, the self-correction, the private breakdowns, the personal victories. This is where strength is carved. Imagine a person trying to overcome their bad habits. It could be anger, procrastination, insecurity, self-doubt, fear, or addiction. People around them might never know the internal war taking place. They might appear normal on the outside, but inside they're fighting thoughts, temptations, and emotions that try to pull them backward. The moment they choose to resist the temptation, even when no one sees, they win. The moment they decide to try again after falling, they grow. These invisible victories, though hidden, shape them into a stronger human being. Strength is not always physical. Sometimes the strongest people are those who fight battles no one else knows about. Life gives everyone private tests. Times where you must choose integrity even when lying would be easier. Times where you must keep your faith strong even when your situation looks hopeless. Times where you must work hard even when you feel tired, discouraged, or unsupported. Times where you must be kind even when someone is unkind to you. No one rewards you for these private moments, but these moments build your character. They prove who you are when the world isn't looking. Think of a person who wants to change their body through fitness. The transformation doesn't happen in the gym while people are watching. It happens when they say no to unhealthy habits in their private life. It happens when they push through one more repetition even when no one is there to encourage them. It happens when they stay committed on days they don't feel motivated. It happens when they choose discipline over comfort. Their body changes not because of public workouts, but because of private decisions. Or think of a student preparing for a major exam. No teacher sees the hours of practice. No friends see the tears of frustration. No one sees the fear of failure that tries to steal their determination. But they keep going, keep studying, keep trying. And when they achieve success, people applaud the result but never recognize the private sacrifices that made it possible. The truth is, every great person has a story filled with silent battles. Every achievement is built on a foundation of invisible effort. Every powerful personality is the outcome of quiet discipline. And every strong human being is shaped by what happens in the private rooms of their life, not the public stages. So if you are working on yourself right now and nobody sees you, don't be disappointed. If you are fighting silent battles and no one notices, don't feel discouraged. If you are trying to grow, improve, and rebuild your life in private, don't think it's useless. You are becoming strong in the unseen places. You are becoming powerful behind the scenes. You are developing qualities that will carry you far in life. One day, the world will see what you've become, but they won't know the nights you cried, the mornings you pushed yourself, the thoughts you battled, the temptations you resisted, and the strength you built in silence. They will see the glow, but not the fire. They will see the strength, but not the struggle. They will see the success, but not the sacrifice. And that's okay, because real strength is built when no one is watching, and the growth you gain in private will one day shine publicly in ways you never imagined. Pain breaks what was weak inside you, and although that truth is difficult to accept, it is one of the most life-changing realizations a person can understand. Most people think pain only destroys, only hurts, only damages. But pain is also a mirror. It reveals the parts of you that were fragile, unstable, or unprepared. It brings to the surface the places inside your heart or mind that you never paid attention to. Pain exposes the cracks, not to embarrass you, but to strengthen you. When someone goes through heartbreak, they often discover weaknesses they didn't know existed. They realize how easily they trusted, how deeply they depended on someone's presence, how much of their identity was tied to a relationship. The pain of that loss reveals the weak areas, but it doesn't stop there. Once those weaknesses are exposed, a person begins to rebuild themselves with new boundaries, new standards, and new strength. What felt like emotional collapse becomes emotional awakening. The pain didn't destroy them, it destroyed the version of them that wasn't ready for their next level. Think of a person who loses a job unexpectedly. At first, the pain hits hard, the fear, the confusion, the uncertainty. But as days pass, something starts to change inside them. They realize that they had been comfortable, maybe too comfortable. They were relying on a routine that no longer challenged them. The sudden shock forces them to discover skills they never used, creativity they didn't know they had, courage they didn't think they could access. The weakness of depending on comfort is shattered, and a new resilience begins to grow. What looked like a painful ending becomes the beginning of a stronger version of themselves. Pain can also break emotional weaknesses. For example, think of someone who gets disappointed by friends they trusted. That disappointment teaches them that not everyone deserves access to their heart, their time, or their energy. They learn to be more careful with their circle, more intentional with their friendships, more aware of people's character instead of their words. The pain of betrayal breaks the weakness of trust and replaces it with wisdom. In everyday life, people hide their weaknesses behind routine, behind smiles, behind distractions. But when pain enters, it shakes everything. It forces you to confront what you've been avoiding. It makes you aware of the habits that were hurting you, the relationships that were draining you, the choices that were limiting your growth. Pain is a spotlight that shines where healing and correction are needed. Think of a glass filled with water. When it is shaken, what spills out? Only what was already inside. Pain is that shaking in your life. It reveals your patience level, your mindset, your emotional stability, your discipline, your character. If anger spills out, the pain didn't put it there. It only exposed it. If fear spills out, the pain didn't plant it. It simply revealed it. And once something is exposed, it can finally be fixed. A person might think they are patient until life gives them a situation that tests their patience. A person might think they are strong until life gives them a challenge that demands real strength. A person might think they are ready until life hands them a responsibility that overwhelms them. Pain exposes these weak points not to shame you, but to shape you. Without exposure, there can be no improvement. Imagine a student who thinks they understand everything in class until the exam. The test exposes the areas they didn't study enough, the topics they skipped, the concepts they misunderstood. The exam doesn't create weakness, it reveals it. And once those weaknesses are revealed, the student knows exactly where to focus, where to grow, and how to improve. Life works the same way. Pain is the exam that reveals what you need to strengthen. Even in nature, this truth exists. Trees grow stronger when wind pushes against them. Scientists discovered that trees planted in completely controlled environments without wind or resistance grow weak and fall easily. But when exposed to pressure, their roots grow deeper and their trunk becomes stronger. The stress breaks the weak parts so the tree can rebuild itself in a more powerful way. Human beings are no different. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without challenge, there is no development. Without pain, the weakness remains hidden. Pain also breaks ego, pride, and false confidence. It humbles you. It opens your eyes. It teaches you compassion, understanding, and maturity. When somebody goes through struggle, they become more empathetic, more human, more aware of other people's pains. Before pain, you may judge others easily. After pain, you understand them deeply. The weakness of arrogance breaks and humility rises. Some people only learn their true worth through pain. A person might tolerate disrespect for years until one painful moment finally wakes them up. That pain breaks the weakness of low self-esteem and awakens the strength of self-respect. A person might stay in a toxic environment until the pressure becomes unbearable. That pain breaks the weakness of fear and strengthens the courage to walk away. Pain becomes the teacher that says, you deserve better. You can rise higher. You can choose differently. There are times when pain breaks emotional dependency. When someone you relied on suddenly leaves, the pain forces you to stand on your own feet. At first, it feels like collapse. But slowly, day by day, you discover abilities you didn't know you had. You realize you can survive without what you thought you couldn't live without. The weakness of dependency breaks And independence is born. Pain breaks the parts of you that were holding you back, old habits, old beliefs, old patterns, old fears. It crushes what was fragile so you can rebuild something unshakable. It destroys the illusion so you can embrace reality. It tears down the old structure so a stronger foundation can rise. And when the rebuilding begins, you realize something powerful. The pain didn't come to break you. It came to break the weakness inside you so the strength within you could finally rise. Growth happens outside comfortable places, and that is one of the most life-changing truths people often ignore. Everyone wants to grow, succeed, rise, and become stronger. Very few want to step into situations that stretch them. Comfort feels safe. Comfort feels familiar. Comfort feels warm. But comfort also keeps your potential locked, your strength untouched, and your abilities unexplored. Nothing extraordinary ever grows in a comfortable environment. The moment you step outside that comfort, even if it feels scary, uncomfortable, or uncertain, that is the moment your transformation begins. Think about a person who has been working the same job for years. It pays well enough, it's easy enough. It doesn't challenge them much, but deep down, they know they were meant for more. They have dreams that whisper at night. They feel a spark inside that doesn't match the life they're living. But the comfort of the job keeps them stuck. They fear stepping out. They fear change. They fear risk. And as long as they stay in that comfortable place, their growth remains frozen. But once they step out, once they face the unknown, try something new, learn new skills, pursue something bold, that discomfort becomes the soil where their strength grows. The struggle becomes their teacher. And what felt uncomfortable begins shaping them into the version themselves they always dreamed to be. Comfort is a soft pillow, but it prevents you from running. Growth, on the other hand, is more like an early morning run, cold air, stiff muscles, heavy breath. But that discomfort builds stamina. That pain builds strength. That effort builds capability. You cannot gain strength without challenge. You cannot build resilience without pressure. You cannot develop courage without fear. Growth demands that you step away from what feels easy and into what stretches you. Think about someone learning to swim. At first, the shallow end is comfortable. The water is calm. Feet touch the ground, safety is guaranteed. But no one becomes a strong swimmer staying in the shallow end. To learn confidence, to build skill, to conquer fear, they must move into deeper water. The discomfort of not touching the bottom teaches them balance. The uncertainty builds trust in themselves. And once they learn to float, to glide, to breathe properly, the deep water becomes their place of strength. That transformation could never happen in comfort. In everyday life, people often stay in relationships, environments, habits, and routines that feel safe, even though they're not helping them grow. Someone may stay with a group of friends who do not support their ambitions. The conversations are shallow, the activities are repetitive, and the mindset is limited. But because it's familiar, they remain stuck. The moment they step out, meet new people, explore new environments, try different things, they discover new ideas, new opportunities, and new paths that were invisible inside their comfort zone. A person might fear public speaking, so they avoid every opportunity to talk. But the moment they force themselves on stage, hands shaking, voice trembling, heart racing, the discomfort becomes the birthplace of confidence. Each time they face that fear, they grow. Each time they stretch, they expand. Eventually, the stage that once terrified them becomes the platform where they shine. Without stepping into discomfort, that transformation could never exist. Even success itself requires stepping out of comfort. Business owners grow only by taking risks. Students grow only by challenging harder subjects. Artists grow by trying new techniques. Athletes grow by pushing past limits. Parents grow by learning patience through difficult moments. Growth is never rooted in ease, only in effort. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall again and again. Every attempt is uncomfortable. Every fall is a shock. But each time they rise, they strengthen their muscles, improve their balance, and refine their steps. If the child decided to stay comfortable, crawling forever, they would never discover the joyful freedom of walking or running. The discomfort was necessary for their growth. In nature, everything that grows must endure discomfort. A seed must push through soil. A butterfly must struggle to break its cocoon. A chick must break its shell from inside. A flower must push through dirt to bloom. Discomfort is the doorway to growth. Without resistance, nothing can rise. Without challenge, nothing can evolve. Without stretching, nothing can reach its full height. In your own life, there are dreams you want, goals you desire, and visions you believe in. But they all require you to do something that shakes you. Whether it's learning a new skill, starting something new, admitting a truth, ending something unhealthy, working harder, waking up earlier, or letting go of something that no longer serves you, growth demands discomfort. But every time you choose the uncomfortable path, you grow wiser, stronger, sharper, braver. Some people never discover their true potential simply because they never leave their safe space. They never test their talent. They never challenge their abilities. They never push their limits. And so they remain the same year after year, hoping for change, but resisting the discomfort needed to create it. But the people who rise, who transform, who break barriers, who inspire others, those are the people who step out of comfort. They embrace challenge. They welcome growth. They choose evolution over ease. They go where others fear to go. They push where others stop. And because of that, they become what others only dream to be. You must understand something powerful. Your comfort zone is not your home, it is your cage. And the moment you step outside that cage, even if your legs shake, even if your heart trembles, even if the unknown scares you, that moment is the beginning of your breakthrough. One day, you will look back and realize that the uncomfortable steps you took were the steps that changed everything. The discomfort built your character. The uncertainty built your courage. The challenge built your strength. The struggle built your resilience, and the growth you gained outside comfort shaped you into someone you never thought you could become. Pain redirects your path, and most people only understand this truth when they look back at their lives and realize how many painful moments were actually silent blessings. It is human nature to feel frustrated, confused, or broken when something does not go the way we expected. We plan our lives with straight lines and smooth roads in mind, often turns with sharp curves, closed doors, unexpected endings, and sudden storms. In those moments, we feel lost. We question everything. We wonder why something had to fall apart. But what feels like life pushing you backward is often life shifting you towards something better. Think about a person who desperately wanted a certain job. They prepared for it. They hoped for it. They imagined their life with that position. And then rejection. At first, the pain hits deeply. It feels unfair. It feels like failure. But months later, they find another job that suits them better, pays more, matches their purpose, and brings opportunities they never imagined. That rejection wasn't destruction. It was redirection. The pain simply moved them away from what wasn't meant for them and guided them toward what was aligned with their growth. Or think about a relationship you